chance to send the Thunder home. Lillard, long-range three, and it's good at the buzzer!
What is up, NBA fans? Alex Burns here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 intriguing players going into the upcoming NBA season. And before we dive in, I just want to be very clear for you about the criteria of the players on this list. The definition of intriguing means to arouse one's curiosity or interest, and that's just what these players do for me. I am not, and I want to be very clear, I am not labeling any of them a bust, but we do have to remember that for most of the guys, it's already their third or fourth season in the league, and although they have shown flashes of breakout potential, they haven't really been able to put it together on a consistent level, whether that was due to injury or team's makeup or just straight up underwhelming play. Regardless, we are about to embark on a brand new season. The slate has been wiped clean, and words cannot describe to you how excited I am for this upcoming season. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Coming in at number 5 on my list is Detroit Pistons shooting guard Luke Kennard. After spending 2 seasons at Duke, Kennard decided to forego his final 2 years, and he entered the 2017 NBA draft where he was picked number 12 by the Pistons, and in his first 2 seasons, he's been completely average. He really has not lived up to the hype of being a lottery pick. He's put up just 8.6 points per game, and he's only started about 19 games in the last 2 years combined, so he definitely hasn't lived up to the standards of being a lottery pick. But I am really optimistic going into the 2020 season because he really seemed to turn things around at the end of last season, where he scored 27 points in the final regular season game against the Knicks. But then he continued his hot streak into the playoffs, where he put up 15 points per game and 4 rebounds per game, despite the Pistons getting swept by the Bucks. So maybe he figured something out. It will definitely be very interesting to see what the Pistons do with their lineup this year, as they brought in Tony Snell from the Bucks and they brought in Derrick Rose. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of lineups Dwayne Casey puts out there, if he has Rose and Reggie Jackson playing at the same time. But I do believe that Kennard is going to start at the shooting guard over Snell and Bruce Brown. But you can definitely bet I'll be watching to see if Kennard can really carry over his hot streak into this upcoming season. Number 4 on my list is Washington Wizards center Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant had a very slow start to his NBA career after he was drafted in 2017 by the Jazz. He was then quickly shipped off to the Lakers, where he sat buried behind everyone on the depth chart. He only appeared in 15 games. He put up 1.5 points a game. It was nothing impressive. And he ended up actually being waived after the season. So the Lakers cut him. They were done. They weren't impressed. And the Washington Wizards went ahead and picked him up with the intention that he was going to be the backup center to Dwight Howard. Now, the only thing wrong with Dwight Howard, other than the fact that he is a human highlight meme, is that he also was getting hurt a lot. And so he ended up actually missing most of last season. I think he only played like 9 games. He had an injured glute, which, by the way, you can't make that up. If any player in the NBA was going to injure their glute, it was going to be Dwight Howard. But that's what happened. Howard was out. Thomas Bryant stepped in. He was asked to be the starting center, and he played extremely well. He started 53 games. He put up 10.5 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and I know when you hear that, you're like, oh, what's so special about that? Well, he only played 20 minutes per game. That's pretty impressive, considering he only played that amount of time. And he also had a game in which he scored 31 points off of 14 for 14 shooting, and that actually tied an NBA record for the 4th most made field goals without a miss. So he really did show that when he gets the opportunity, he can really contribute. And looking ahead to this upcoming season, Dwight Howard is now in LA, and it looks like Thomas Bryant will be the starter. And this Wizards team has a lot of stuff to figure out about the future. They have John Wall and Bradley Beal on some big contracts. So I expect the Wizards are going to be looking at some of their younger guys to contribute so they can see what they have. At least that's what a good franchise would do. But in the meantime, I expect to see a lot of Thomas Bryant. The Washington Wizards didn't bring in a whole lot of center depth. They have Moritz Wagner that they got from LA, and then they have Ian Mahinmi, who is getting older too. So I'm expecting Thomas Bryant to play a lion's share of minutes, and I expect him to produce when given the opportunity. Number 3 on my list is none other than Charlotte Hornets' newly acquired point guard, scary Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier, he was drafted by the Celtics with the 16th pick back in 2015, and he was seen to be a pretty decent backup point guard in his first couple of years, but nobody really predicted he would ever become an NBA star. And he finished his first 2 seasons with averages of 12.5 minutes per game, and he only put up 3 points per game. So nothing in those numbers made you think he was going to go on and get a big NBA contract, become a star. And also the Celtics went out and they traded for Kyrie Irving, which is a dominant ball handler, one of the best point guards in the NBA. And to me, that kind of shows they didn't view Scary Terry as their point guard of the future. But things quickly changed, and during his 3rd season in 2018, Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward both went down with really bad injuries, and Terry Rozier became the starting point guard. He really did have a breakout year as he put up 11.5 points per game and 3 assists per game. Obviously not crazy numbers, but I think that's a pretty good improvement for someone who just averaged 3 points per game in his career. And he also went into the playoffs and he took his game to a whole different type of level. He had this all-world type of confidence, and he put up 16 points per game along with 5 assists per game and 5 rebounds per game. And if you remember watching Scary Terry in the 2018 playoffs, you can attest to this. He was simply amazing. He went head-to-head with Eric Bledsoe in one. I remember they were talking trash. They had a little bit of beef. And then he helped us lead the Sixers to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lost in 7 to the LeBron James-led Cavaliers. But all of that had people very excited to see if Terry could take his game to a new level in 2019. But things couldn't have gone worse, as Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving both came back from their injuries, which just completely added further complications to the lineup in Boston. I mean, if you were a guard on that team, it was very hard to get consistent minutes, and so Terry wasn't very happy about that. He voiced his frustration, and the Boston Celtics as a whole had a very underwhelming season last year, and it ultimately led Kyrie Irving and Terry onto new teams, as Scary Terry was dealt this summer to the Charlotte Hornets in the trade that brought Kemba Walker to Boston. And the Hornets went on to sign Rozier to a 3-year, $58 million extension, which has many people scratching their heads. I mean, that's a lot of money for someone who really has 1 year of good productivity. And, they essentially handed him the keys to their franchise this offseason, and it will, without a doubt, be very fun to watch Scary Terry finally get his chance in this upcoming season. Number 2 on my list is going to be Boston Celtics small forward Jaylen Brown, and this is definitely one of the most intriguing guys on this list because Jaylen Brown had so much hype after being drafted number 3 overall by the Celtics back in 2016. He had a very good rookie season where he was named to the all-rookie second team, and he really flashed when given the chance, but things really started to click in his second season where he was seen by many as one of the league's up-and-coming stars and one of the Celtics' most valuable young assets. He came out averaging 14 points per game compared to his average of 6 points per game as a rookie. And much like Terry Rozier, this is where it gets pretty interesting because the Celtics played most of the 2018 season without their 2 stars, Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, who, like we talked about before, were out with injuries. And that really opened up the door for some of the younger guys, such as Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier and Jason Tatum, to really step up and play some serious minutes where they all impressed, and I'm pretty sure they filled every Celtics fan full of excitement for the future. But things got really murky for Jaylen Brown, just like they did for Terry Rozier the following year when Irving and Hayward came back into the lineup. It kind of threw everything out of whack. The Celtics 2019 roster, they didn't really seem to gel. It really messed up Jaylen Brown's rhythm, and he had a really down year. He played less minutes. He wasn't healthy the entire year, and he saw a decline in almost every major stat category. And so it just was a really down year for him. It ultimately led Kyrie Irving and Terry Rozier out, and in my opinion, that kind of clears up a little bit of the logjam. They did add Kemba Walker, so there's going to be a lot of pieces there, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Jaylen Brown this year and seeing how the Celtics use him, see how Brad Stevens uses him, and I think you could be looking at a guy having a bounce-back year. So that is why he is number 2 on my list. Number 1 on my list is none other than Michael Porter Jr. He's a small forward for the Denver Nuggets. He was probably one of the most hyped up NBA prospects until a guy named Zion Williamson came around. I mean, who doesn't love watching a 6'10" basketball player who can handle the rock, a la KD? Unfortunately, Michael Porter Jr. has had to deal with a plethora of injuries, and a lot of people have begun to wonder about his durability. Because of those concerns, he fell to the Nuggets with the 14th pick in the 2018 NBA draft, and that really sucks because if he didn't have such an injury history, there's no question he would have been the number 1 pick. And because of this injury history, the Nuggets actually opted to play it safe with him. He ended up missing the entire season last year, his entire rookie season with back surgery. And that's kind of where we all stand right now. We've heard all these reports from the Nuggets that he's playing great and he's going to give a lot of NBA teams nightmares, yada, yada, yada. We've heard it all. And I'm not saying that's not true. Remember, like I said, the 76ers did the exact same thing with Ben Simmons and he turned out very good. All I'm saying is that we really can't proclaim Michael Porter Jr.'s greatness until we actually see it. Therefore, he is my #1 most intriguing player going into the 2020 NBA season. Thank you for watching this video. This is my second video on this channel. I'm very excited to be putting out more NBA content on this channel, so if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, comment your top 5 most intriguing players that you're looking forward to watching next season. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. It would mean the world to me. Share this video out with your friends and family. My name is Alex Burns. Until next time, NBA fans.